sky and the earth, woman and man, touch in the center with folded hands. This I know will be, this I know, where the love and the lover rest in each other, becoming the one, becoming one another. This I know will be, this I know, this I know will be, this I know. Where the sky and the earth, woman and man, touch in the center with folded hands. This I know will be, this I know, where the love and the lover rest in each other, beholding the one, holding one another. This I know will be, this I know, forever is how long I'll love you. Forever is how long I love you. Where the clouds have passed and the seas have dried, the tears of Eden will bring new life. This I know will be, this I know, that all shall return again, for love is a river that has no end. This I know will be, this I know, forever is how long I'll love you. Forever is how long I love you.
Good morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Experience. Happy Mother's Day, all the mothers and everyone who has a mother. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
We're going to be talking about supreme love today, which all of us has within us, whether we're a mother or not. But this is my favorite holiday. Let's all sing about how we're all welcome here. That's about it. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am. Oh my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Please help me welcome Dominic Garcia is with us today, and Alex Catlett is with us today. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
Well, good morning, Reverend Deborah. Good to see you once again.
Good morning, Reverend James. It's great to be here. And we greet you in the name of all that is good, all that is holy, and all that is sacred. and the warm and loving energy of this community, Spiritual Life Center. Spiritual Life Center honors all of those people who worship in temples and mosques and stone circles, churches, and of course the beautiful temples of nature, because we know there is no space that God does not grace. And if you're with us for the very first time today, either online or here on site, we especially want to welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. Every single one of us is here by
Divine appointment.
And we're always just so excited to be together, and we're even more excited in some ways when you silence your electronic devices, and please refrain from flash photography during the service.
Well, let's take this moment that we've created, that clearing, to connect with that presence and feel and sense our oneness with something that is beyond words but is far more real than anything in the outer world. It is that divine energy we call God itself. We can't see it. We can't really describe it with our human understanding. We just know when we know it is here and is with us always. And we make it the activity of our awareness by identifying the qualities that we understand and make it part of our thoughts, our words, our actions. And as we do, we become a walking embodiment of all the qualities of this presence. So that we can say that when you see me, you are also seeing the very presence from which I have come. Until the peace that goes beyond human understanding, the love that is unconditional, the joy, the wisdom, the health, the vitality, the vigor, and all that is good and perfect is there for us once we raise ourselves to be one with it. So we are grateful to be the vessels and the vehicles of this presence, to anchor these qualities in our life so we can move from where we are to where we can be and collectively be the highest and best expression of what we are here to be collectively as expressions of the divine. We're grateful and thankful as we celebrate this day and one another. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. Well, we have a very important purpose here at Spiritual Life Center as reflected in our mission statement. And I invite you to join in as we affirm it together. To transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission as we live to the best of our ability these 5 basic principles and make it the activity of our consciousness, our awareness, and everything that we do. So let's join in and affirm those together as well. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God. We must take action. And there's a lot of action happening on our board of trustees, and we have Claudia who's going to come forward and give us an update from our board as to what's happening and news you can use.
Good morning. Before I get to the board update, for those of you that haven't heard, Ruby Campbell made her transition on April 28th, and she was 90 years old. So she was a ballroom dancer and choreographed many wedding dances, including my own 20 years ago. And I had always dreamed of doing a waltz at my wedding, and Ruby made it happen. Ruby's heart was always belonged to SLC, and she considered us part of her extended family. And she adored Michael and Faith, and who called her Ruby Dooby. They took dance lessons from her, but later she admitted that Michael was one of her biggest challenges. And friends of Ruby wanted you to know how much she loved the studies that she did with the Way of Mastery and, of course, in Miracles. And she had some real life angels in her life in later years. And I'm very grateful to Jan Adrian and Mary Lucero. And Ruby will be sorely missed, no doubt. She's lighting up heaven and with her beauty and grace. Godspeed, Ruby. I know you're dancing now. And so please look forward for the email from the board with more memories about Ruby, provided by Mary Lucero, which will also be posted on our website and on Mighty Networks this week. Okay, now down for the business. Thank you all who participated in person by Zoom or at our April 24th Thrive Community meeting. If you missed it, don't worry about that. If you're on our mailing list, you will be able to get the recording. And the links of the recording will be in handouts, and they will also be available on our website under What's New on the page, and also in the drop-down menu under Events. If you are a part of the community, we ask that you take the time to watch the Thrive Community Meeting replay. An important topic discussed at that meeting was how can you help SLC thrive? One way is to either become a friend, community, or governing member of SLC. When doing so, we ask that you say yes to giving what you can, so we know that what we can count on you financially for the year. You can sign up online under the Members tab on our website, or see any SLC member to help you with completing the online forms. And I wanted to explain that you need to re-up every year to ask for consideration of increased regular donation amounts. And thank you for those of you who heard us and have already made your commitments. At the Thrive meeting, there was a request for a specific organization chart, and that too will be posted on our later this week and discussed more in detail in our upcoming annual meeting on Sunday, May 22nd at 1 to 2:30 p.m. and it'll be in person and in Zoom. And all of you are welcome to our annual meeting, but only renewed 2022 governing members will be eligible to vote. We will have two important votes. One will be on housekeeping bylaws, amendment that will allow in-person online voting, such as on Zoom. We will need to vote first on the topic in order to continue with elections of the 2022 and 2023 Board of Trustees. There are other bylaw amendments that will be discussed for later vote at our next membership meeting. And for the board, there are a total of 6 candidates that were recommended by the Board of Trustees Recruitment Committee and approved by the board. These candidates are current board members who are, or 3 of us were candidates of the current board members who were appointed to fill vacant positions last year, and I was one of those. 3 are new candidates to replace outgoing members, and bios of the Board of Trustee candidates will be available online Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia.
There's always lots going on here. So if you want to know what's going on and all the happenings at Spiritual Life Center, if you're here on site, you can go out into the courtyard, look at the bulletin board, go chat with the ladies at the hub, and of course, everything, again, you could possibly ever want to know about SLC is on our website.
At this time, I invite any of our chaplains that are here this morning, as well as our Board of Trustees that may be present. And the chaplains are doing the very important work of holding our consciousness in the high watch through their prayer, not only on Sundays, but throughout the week. But they're specifically available to pray with you immediately after the service in the courtyard if you have something you would like to have prayed for or just want to celebrate. So we thank them for the consciousness they bring and the awareness that they have of that high watch for our community. And our board members, of course, are spending their time, their talent, their energies, and bringing everything that they have to help us move forward collectively as a community. And we thank them for their service. And if you have any questions of them, they're available to answer questions that you may have about our community. So we thank them for their unconditional and selfless service to our community.
And we love to greet our newcomers, so in a moment we will ask you to raise your hand. But first we want you to know there are many ways to become connected here at SLC, and one of the ways to do that is to fill out a welcome card. That welcome card is available online. You can go to our website and fill the card out and submit it, and we will get back to you. The other way is, if you are here on site, is when we ask you to raise your hand and then fill out that card, take it to the welcome table out in the courtyard where there's a nice gift and a warm welcome.
So at this time, is anyone here for the first time? Any first timers? We invite you to raise your hand. Let's keep your hand nice and high. Thanks so much for present. We have someone to my left, your right in the back. So they're going to come forward and give you that card, and we invite you to complete that. And if you want to stay in touch with what's going on in our community, we're also hanging out the ribbon. If you'd like to wear that, you'll get that special Spiritual Life Center greeting. And we affirm you and support you on your path. And we're so grateful that you're here, blessing us with your presence here today. And with that, we can greet not only our newcomer, but each other in a manner that feels comfortable for you to say, great, glad you're here. You are marvelous.
And we invite you to stay standing and join us in singing our group song, We Let It Be by Ricky Byers. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Please join us in singing. be seated.
And now, as we begin to go within, let us say our vision statement together. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions. Weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom, we cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet.
And now, in preparation for meditation, I invite you to take a nice deep breath and settle into your chair and accept this blessing from us, and then please join us in singing.
You are the heart. You are the hands. You are the voice of spirit on earth.
And who you are, and all you do is a blessing
To the
Please join us in singing.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth. And who you are and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth. And who we are and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth. And who I am and all I do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hand, I am the heart, I am the hand. You are the heart, you are the hand, you are the heart, you are the hand. We are the heart, we are the hand, we are the heart, we are the hands, and a blessing to the world. We're a blessing to the world.
As we settle into this time of quiet, just breathe naturally. Become aware of how you relax with each breath. Breathe into the back of your heart and melt into your seat, allowing your vision to become soft and cloudy. Close your eyes and allow your consciousness to drift into a light daydream. In front of you is a hedge-lined path, and a very friendly puppy bounces up to you. She jumps and twirls around a sign that says, "Welcome to the spiral of love." She bounces over to you, exuding love and joy, and she makes you laugh. And your heart opens as you receive this love. And now the puppy runs along the path, stopping and looking back as if to say, "Follow me." The path is beautiful. It's lined with these hedges and flowers, birds, butterflies. Peace abounds. As you walk into the first curve of the spiral, a small child runs to greet you. The child's eyes radiate pure love as it reaches up to show you a special toy. As you bend down to look at the toy, the child wraps its arms around your neck and hugs you. Joy and love tingle throughout your entire body. Receiving this love, your heart opens just a little more. Following the puppy and the child along the path, you laugh with glee as they bounce and run in pure joy just for being. And as you walk into the next curve, a couple dances into the path. They look lovingly into each other's eyes, and they twirl and spin, exuding love, peace, and joy. And they spin around you. Sparks fly that resolve into strands of light that spiral around you. Receiving this deep love, your heart opens even wider. By now you're so filled with love that you feel like you cannot hold anymore. And still your companions move ahead of you. Their lights of love and joy pull you along. And into the final curve, an ethereal being clad in white stands in the middle of the path, watching all of you with pure love, arms spread wide. And you walk right into those arms, which wrap around you in the purest, most loving embrace you have ever felt. You feel safe, warm, supported, nurtured. Love and joy permeate your body, your bones, your cells, your very soul. Immersed in pure love, your heart opens completely. And now this being takes you by the hand and leads you around into the center of the spiral. Here burns the light of pure, clear, holy, pure love, divine love. And you are immersed in the light, blending, dancing in love and joy, just for being in the silence. Your eyes see only love. You feel only love. Love is your connection with everything. It keeps you together. It keeps all of us together. And now take a breath or two, and begin to return to your physical body as you receive this blessing. Oh, my beloved, there is only love. As you walk through the seasons of your life, you will encounter many moods and emotions. But no matter the season, you come within where love dwells, where infinite love is bouncing, dancing, embracing, supporting you, and where you are fully embraced, and where you know that truly love is all there is. Remember this, always.
Whether you're a mother or not, every one of us has this divine mother inside, this nurturer, this comforter, this supreme love. Please I invite you to please see this love, this divine mother wrapping her arms around the earth, comforting everyone who's experiencing any pain right now. There is a loving place, tender and full of grace. Sweet sister, hear our prayer. Oh, Mother, take us there. There is a loving place where peace shines on every face. This is the dream we share. Oh, Mother, take us there. Oh, Mother, take us home. Please melt these hearts of stone. Guide us with constant care. Father, our hearts may roam. Help every soul to fly. Sweet sister, hear our prayer. Oh, mother, take us there. Oh, mother, take us there. Oh, mother, take us there. The Ukraine. Oh, mother, take us there. The Judd's family. Oh, mother, take us there. The whole political system. Oh, mother, take us there. Those that have lost someone. Oh, mother, take us there. Take us there. Oh, mother, take us there. Oh, mother, take us there. Blessed mother. Oh, mother, take us there.
Bask in that mother energy. Oh, mother, take us there. The words say, oh, mother, take us there. Guide us with constant care. Well, once again, happy Mother's Day for those who have mothers, those who have served in that capacity or were born of a mother. Guys, want to be inclusive here. You know, Mother's Day is one of the most widely observed holidays. But Mother's Day is also very tricky sometimes to give talks on. Because it's like the tale of two cities where, you know, if I may use an analogy, sometimes it's the best of day for some and maybe the worst of day for others. Because for many, you know, it's a day of joy, it's a day of celebration. It's a day of lunches and brunches and cards and giving and receiving of gifts. Maybe long phone calls if you're a distance from a mother, or nowadays FaceTime or Zoom. But for others, it's difficult. And I know some individuals who consciously avoid coming to maybe a service with the topic of Mother's Day. I have one of my colleagues who I've known for a long time. He would say that I just as soon cancel Mother's Day. Because from his perspective, it was seen sometimes as an unjust holiday that was somehow forced or foisted on people who may have lost their mother, or a mother who may have lost a child, or maybe they did not know their mother, or maybe other people, they knew their mother, but they didn't like them. Or they didn't like their children. And maybe some who wanted to be that mother but couldn't, or never wanted to be a mother, and maybe society shames them for that. Or maybe some people thought, you know, they wanted to be a mother, and they'd say, whoops, that was a mistake. So there may be a litany of reasons that individuals resist, you know, the whole topic. You know, I get it. You know, for many of you know that my mother disappeared when I was very young. And so a long time I had ambivalence about the whole Mother's Day holiday. And I recognize where people may be coming from. But there is a way to celebrate the spirit of Mother's Day, where the one is a mother and maybe have had some challenging experiences with their mothers, or mothers maybe have been distanced from themselves, from their children. Because there's a divine mother energy that I call the love supreme that is within all of us. It's a divine energy. It never smothers us. Rather, it always supports us. It is always nurturing us if we're open and receptive to receive it. You know, in the Hebrew Bible, in Isaiah, the 66th chapter, the 11th verse, it says, as a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted. This divine mother presence is everywhere. It's ancient, it's mythic. It's a mythic energy that is of unconditional love. It's of divine giving, and it's part of nearly every single culture. And when we embody in a mother or a mother figure those qualities, they have very important lessons for all of us. You know, when we make it part of our own lives, it can change us. It can transform us in its most magnificent ways. So this love supreme, sometimes when it shows up in individuals, teaches us a number of things. It teaches us how to love and give without agenda. There was once a team of researchers who posed a question to a group of 4 to 6 year olds. And the question that they posed to them was this: what does love mean? And of course, they gave all kinds of answers, and they were much broader and probably much deeper than they imagined they would be. But one young kid said that love is when you go out to eat and give someone most of your French fries without making them give you any of theirs. That's giving without agenda. It's a quality of a love supreme from that divine mother presence that dwells within each of us. The love supreme consciousness is always directing and guiding us to our highest possibility and reaching out with unconditional love, even when we stumble. Even when we stumble over and over again in life, even when we have mistake after mistake in life, it is there for us. There was once a famous scientist, and this scientist made a lot of medical breakthroughs and inventions, and he was being interviewed once. And he was asked why he thought he was able to do so much more creatively than the average person. What set him apart? And he said it all came from his experience with his mother that occurred when he was maybe 4 years old. And he said he was trying to take a bottle of milk from the refrigerator. And he said he lost his grip of the milk because the bottle was slippery and it fell and the bottle broke and it spilled milk all over the kitchen. So there was a sea of milk everywhere, not only on the floor, but on the tables and the walls. And the mother, instead of chastising him or yelling at him or being upset, simply said, "What a great and wonderful mess you have made. I've rarely seen such a huge puddle of milk. Would you like to get down and play in the milk for a few minutes before we clean up?" And of course they did. He was all for that. And after a while, the mother said to him, "You know, whenever you make a mistake, a mess like this, we all have to eventually clean it up and restore everything to its proper order. So would you like to use a sponge? Do you want to use a towel? Do you want to use a mop?" So he chose the sponge, and together they cleaned up the milk. And the mother said, "What you have here is an experiment that has gone awry. You have an experiment that didn't quite work out in how to effectively carry a big bottle of milk with your tiny hands." So they made an arrangement for him to go out in the backyard and filled up the bottle with water and figured out a way that he could carry it without dropping it. And the boy learned that if you grasp it at the very top with both of his hands, holding it tight, he could carry it without dropping it. But within that was a wonderful lesson. Because the scientist remarked that at that moment, he knew he did not need to be afraid of making mistakes. And he learned that mistakes are simply opportunities for us to learn something new. And that's what an experiment should be about in our own life. Even if an experiment does not work out, even if something in our life does not work out, there's usually something for us to learn that is valuable in it. So I think this divine, supreme, loving presence is reminding us there's no failure, there's only feedback. Only feedback. So the lesson from the quality of the love supreme that is calling us right now Remember, it's a reminder that no matter what we have done or not done, we can always begin again. I don't know if you ever played any, games with friends, maybe, baseball or something like that in the backyard or on the street, and, you might be imagining you're a pitcher or somebody, and somebody else is the batter, and you get ready to throw the ball, toward the person for them to hit the ball, so they get in their stance, and you're the pitcher, you throw the ball, they swing and miss, and the person will say, that doesn't count, I wasn't ready. That doesn't count, I wasn't ready. You say, hey, man, you were like, you said you were ready. You were in your stance. You had the bat up and everything. What do you mean you wasn't ready? He said, no, that doesn't count. I wasn't ready. I want to do it again. But I think that's how the divine mother energy presence treats us. We can always get a do-over. Because no matter how much we may have messed up, there's a do-over possibility from this presence. It's supporting us. Often maybe a mother figure will embody this, when a child seemingly makes those mistakes over and over again in their life. In my previous life, I, represented juveniles in juvenile court. And they would invariably get into trouble. And sometimes I would talk to the mothers and let them know what they have been charged with and what they had done and so forth. And sometimes the mother would say, well, that's not my child. I said, wait a minute, isn't your child's name so-and-so? Isn't this his picture? Now we got this videotape. Well, is that him in that videotape there where they got him doing this, whatever? And the mother would say, yeah, but I don't care what they say about him. I don't care what they say about her. What they have in the news about that person, whatever they've been charged with, I know my child. And that's not my child. So sometimes it's heartbreak after heartbreak over and over again. They know there's something there that is always redeemable. Something that's made in the image and likeness of good. And they give and they give and they give and they provide a lesson for us to walk through life and to reach out, to live without agenda, to give without agenda, to support without agenda, and leaving the outcome to the presence of God. This is the love supreme that is telling us this, and it tells us many things. And something else, it tells us to give in service. To give in service so that our littleness, our humanness, our sometimes restricted part of us begins to be diminished. And so the deeper part of us, the spiritual part of us, begins to surface itself. Similarly, when mothers give with an open heart, the boundaries of what we think our limitations are begin to erode. And I know that, psychologists will say, set your own personal boundaries and have balance in your life. And, don't let people infringe upon it, even family members or children. We know they say that, and that's very wonderful, and it does have its place. And they tell us, don't burn yourself out. But there always are those moments where those mother figures know, and sometimes they know in their sacrifice that they go without. And they make sure that their child can go and take a course or join this group. And the mothers know they don't want them to go without. They want to make sure their child grows up with the understanding that there's always someone supporting them no matter what. That we do live in an abundant universe. Even as buying something that they do not need. There's a moment that the mother figure knows that I have to get this for my child, even if I have to go without. So they may sacrifice in that moment. They go to beyond what their seeming limitations are, and they give. And as a result, they tap into the inexhaustible realm that is beyond time, beyond space, the givingness of the God presence. And it gives, and they know that this presence will give them an assist along the way, even if they don't know how it's going to show up. Blessings begin to come in their own life. They know that if they just focus on themselves, or as they say, save their little life, they'll lose it. But if they lose their life for a bigger idea, for that divine idea known as a child, oh, that divine presence will show up. So they are expressing an aspect of the love supreme. I think when we give with that open heart in service to others, the boundaries of our littleness erodes. The divine presence takes over. The love supreme energy teaches us this. And it also teaches us that mothers on the planet seek to emulate this energy. Well, like I said, some people may be saying, right now, I dig what this man is saying. But none of that was my experience. None of that was like that. He's not describing my mother experience at all. As a matter of fact, as I'm listening to this, I think I'm going to send a link to the video so she can listen to it and watch it. And so people may be saying, I did not know my mother. I was adopted. Or my mother passed before I got to know her. And none of that applies to me. But I would say, yes, it does. The human incarnation of motherhood is a representation of a dynamic energy that is everywhere present. And as you and I hear the divine voice within our own heart, we can begin to mother ourselves. When we realize there is nothing lacking in our life. There's nothing that's ever been lacking. Nothing's been lacking in our life, regardless of the historical perspective that we may have had about how we see our life. We can stand up now and understand that we have been surrounded by a presence that's within all of us. And we're seeing a vision of perfection where you and I are concerned, and that's how the Spirit of living God sees us. It never turns its back on us. Sometimes we may be laden with guilt, burdened with mistakes, missed opportunities, and so forth. But the love supreme presence is saying that you have infinite possibilities, that you are my beloved, of which you and I should be well pleased about. And we can instantly step in that awareness no matter what and direct our attention to that loving presence. And then we can watch our life becomes transformed and reveal that glory of God that is always there. So we do that on this Mother's Day. We do that recognizing that love supreme, that unconditional love is always right here where we are. It doesn't respect persons. It's like the rain, it comes down on everybody. So we got it. It's impersonal. We can't own it. But it's saying, let me be an instrument of it. It's telling us to do that. It is the love of God that is coming through us when we open ourselves to it. It is God's wisdom that is coming through. It's God's peace that is coming through. The God's affluence and beauty and understanding. It's not that littleness that we sometimes restrict ourselves to. And yet it may be impersonal, but for us it's very personal when we open ourselves to it. So our charge today is to accept it for ourselves. That we are magnificent expressions of this presence. And it's reminding us constantly, regardless of what has happened to us in our history. Sometimes it just takes one thought derived from this spiritual idea, this love supreme presence. As I mentioned earlier, when I was very young, my mother disappeared in my life. And, from what I recall, and who knows what your memory does to you, but you come home and she's not there. And she wasn't there later that evening. She wasn't there later that next day. And then a certain angst started overcoming me. And then it came to the realization that it was never coming back. At least that's what I thought. She was gone. She disappeared. So you can imagine the event having an impact on my life, my sense of self-worth, sense of value of myself. So over 25 years, there was a sense of void within me because of the way I interpreted that event. And it's a primary event that kind of led to my own spiritual path because I went through lots of personal challenges because of how I saw myself. So I went through this riotous living and rose up and everything collapsed around me. But all of that served as a catalyst for my personal growth. But I will say, amidst that challenge, amidst of that seeming void that was within me, there was one incident with my mother that lifted me above that, helped me rise above that experience. And I've shared this because it was so pivotal about my life and how it transformed and how I began to see the power of God, the power of mind, how we direct our attention. You know, I shared a story in the blog I wrote earlier this week, and I've shared it in the past, but it kind of reminds me of how to see things from a different perspective. And so I was very young. I was in my backyard, and, you know, as often would happen with kids during the summertime, you got a little bored. There was nobody to me to play with, and so I decided to make up my own game. And I remember I saw a beehive, like in the corner of the house. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take this stick and I'm going to just hit this beehive. I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking at all. But I took the stick and I hit the beehive, and the bees came out and started running after me. I got away. I said, I'm good. They'll never catch me. So I went back and I took the stick and I hit the beehive again. And they came and ran after me, and I got away. And I was getting ready to go back for the third time. And apparently the bees decided to have a meeting. Decided to get together their strategy. And so I went back with the stick the third time, and before I could even hit the beehive, they came out in formation. I mean, the Blue Angels had nothing on them. So they flew at me, and I got stung all over my head and on my eye, my neck, and I was looking like one of those creatures in the Star Wars bar scene, I was one of those, people that could have fit right on in because I was looking hideous. But I remember right after that, my mother came to me, and I remember she was holding me, caressing the wounds and from the bee stings that I was going through at that moment. And there was a tender, loving presence and support that I had in that moment of my grief and pain and misery that I was going through. And I began to think about that more than anything else all those years that she and I were separated. I think her act of love came out of that divine mind, the divine idea, that supreme love. And despite all the unpleasantries and the negative experiences I had really created for myself as a result of believing I was abandoned, whenever I thought about that scene, all those seemingly negative beliefs began to disappear. The lower thoughts had no power because I was focused on the event based upon that love supreme. It seemed had entered into my awareness. And so whenever I think about anything based upon a divine idea, what any of us do, whenever it's based upon the motherhood qualities of God, that love supreme becomes more powerful than anything else, and anything less than that begins to lose its power. Because divine ideas are based upon the truth that liberates us and makes us free. We see that we are never alone, even if we think we are on the human level. Though it may have felt that way, maybe emotionally, we have never been alone. And throughout our journey of life, we're never alone, no matter what our relationship with our natural mothers may be, or human mothers may be. There is always something there. It may come in the form of other people, guardian angels, teachers, people walking around us, making sure that we do not fall. But even without them, there's something within us that's in league with this dynamic, cosmic, universal energy. This is love supreme. It is our life. This God presence is all around us. It's right where we are. And when we begin to practice the realization of this, when we practice living from this, then the entire universe begins to shape itself around who and what we are here to be, expressions of this loving presence. I think if we look at our world today, the world is seeking to be in alignment with that divine presence now. And as each of us become those instruments in which the fullness of God is expressed, then something happens that moves us to another level of being. I think this is the world is calling out for this today. This is what's important today. And each of us can do that by expressing and being the divine ideas from this love supreme, which is our mother presence that is always with us. So we bless it. We bless the divine motherhood that is in all of us all of the time. So it's in this spirit, I wish you a happy Mother's Day. Peace and blessings to you. Well, next week, Reverend Deborah is going to be sharing her talk, Calling Yourself Home. And I know it will be a transformative experience for you, as each week we get a little something to help us move from where we are to where we can be. At this time, I'm going to invite those who may be watching online, no matter what day or time it may be, if you'd like to support Spiritual Life Center to help spread the word of who we are and what we're about, and we can provide this place for others to come to evolve spiritually. You can do so by texting 44321 and writing the words SLC Love. That's 44321. Writing the words 44321, and you will go to that page where you can give whatever you feel your heart desires to give us to support our community. Or you can go to slcworld.org, click the Donate tab, which is our website. That's slcworld.org. Click the Donate tab and get other ways that you can give, including by mail. So at this time, for those who are present who wish to give, know that you're in that flow of a principle that says that whatever you give begins to come back to you. And no matter what it may be, no matter how you've given, what ways, if you're given online, if you're given by mail, if you're given electronically, you're in that flow of a principle that says we can never outgive the presence of God, and ultimately we all benefit. So with that, I invite us together to affirm our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
So we're going to keep evoking that Divine Mother. This is a call and response tune. So if you feel so inclined, I invite you to stand up and sing this song with me. It's very simple. Just repeat everything that we sing up here. Are you ready? Awesome. Let's do this. Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Now I know I'm not alone.
Now I know I'm not alone.
'Cause I've been far.
I've been far.
Now I'm close.
Now I'm close.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Sweet mother, I'm coming home.
Tell me, mother, can you hear me say?
Tell me, mother, can you hear me say?
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Heart and soul.
Heart and soul.
Breath and skin.
And skin.
Your love is everything.
Your love is everything.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
'Cause mother, I need some help tonight.
Mother, I need some help tonight.
What went wrong
What went wrong?
will soon be right.
Be right.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Oh, mother, please hold me tight.
Tell this world is strange. Love me, mother, and make me brave. Love me, mother, and make me brave. In my dreams, on this day, oh mother, help me be brave. Oh mother, help me be brave. Tell me, mother, can you hear me say? Oh, tell me, mother, can you hear me say? Your love is everything. Your love is everything. Heart and soul, breath and skin. Oh mother, you're everything. Oh mother, you're everything. Tell me, mother, can you hear me say? Tell me, mother, can you hear me say? Your love is everything. Your love is everything. Heart and soul, breath and skin. Your love is everything. 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 Your love is everything.
Your love is everything. You know, I forgot to tell you in my talk that, my mother disappeared. 25 years later, we were united. That's another story. But I didn't want to leave that out. So we're blessed. I'm blessed. And we bless those who have given today, either in person or online, knowing that they're blessing this community for the folks that are here so we can continue to provide a place for individuals to remember who they are as expressions of the presence of God and the potential that lies within each and every one of us. So we bless those who have given, knowing He's not only going to bless the receivers, but the givers as well. We also bless those who have left prayers in the prayer box, knowing that we all go through challenges in life. We have bumps in the road. We have things that come before us that we just don't know how to handle. So we let go, let God, and turn them over to that presence that is beyond our understanding, but is always here for us, knowing that it will give us an answer even before we know what we're praying for. For we remember, as that statement says, before they call, I will already have answered you. So we receive that answer for them, for ourselves, for our community, for our world. No matter what the challenge is, there is a divine and perfect solution waiting to be revealed. So we affirm that's being revealed right now. For those prayers that have been left in the prayer box, know they will go on to be prayed over for an additional 30 days at Silent Unity, where they have had uninterrupted prayer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for over 100 years. So there's a vibration that is there that those who have prayed will feel, even if they're not aware of it. So they're blessed, as we all are, for this presence is with us always and in all ways. So for this and so much more, we're grateful and thankful as we go forth doing our part to anchor and bring on earth this good. Amen. So with that, we can now affirm our prayer for protection together, take in these words and know that they are the truth of who and what we are. And they are, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Let us join together and sing our peace song.